Hey everyone, it's Mark from Northern Sound and Light, and welcome to our YouTube channel. We're here today to talk to you a little bit about the new SI Expression series consoles from Soundcraft. The SI Expression comes in 3 frame sizes. The SI Expression 1 is a 16 channel, which is also rack mountable, 24 channel, and what we have here today, the SI Expression 3, is a 32 channel. It comes with 32 analog mic pre's and 16 analog outputs. All 3 models have all 16 analog outputs. The only difference is the number of mic pre's. Over here at the channel, you'll notice that we have 100mm faders, very nice and smooth, and also fully motorized and recallable, which is huge. Above the fader, we have a solo button, which allows you to monitor through the headphones, which is located down here in the front. Allows you to monitor what's going on. You have a select switch, which is common with digital consoles that allow you to access the assignable channel strip, or fat channel, some manufacturers. And also an on-off switch or mute for each channel. Has a nice green light there so you can see when the channel's on. And then there are 3, you'll notice that there's an encoder above each fader, and that encoder can be one of 3 things. So simply following this line of encoders down here, you'll notice that it can be the gain, or a trim pot. It allows you to adjust the amount of signal coming into the channel, your high-pass filter adjust, or it can be pan. Normally I like to leave it set to gain, but if you are doing something where you're going to use an effect left to right, you might have it set on the pan. But either way, it's just a one-touch and changes the behavior of the encoder on each channel. So let's move up here to the assignable channel strip, or the ACS as Soundcraft calls it. And you can see we just select a channel. Over here is the input section. So above here we have some metering. We have actually a stereo meter, but if you've only got a mono signal coming in, you're only going to see signal on the mono. 48 volt phantom power available on every channel, on or off. A polarity switch or phase reverse. Another gain input, so if you want to adjust the gain up here, you can do that as long as this channel is selected. And also your high-pass filter to engage the high-pass filter, and also to set the frequency at which you want to allow the frequency to pass. Next to that, we have the gate control. So gate on and off, and then all the various, your threshold, attack, release in this section. A compressor, which also gives you, there's a downward reading LED here that allows you to see the amount of gain reduction that's being applied. A 4-band parametric EQ with sweepable mids. So you have a high booster cut and the ability to center in on the frequency, low booster cut and center in on the frequency. And then you have the sweepable mids, which also gives you the ability to adjust the width of the frequency that you're adjusting. And then over here on the output section, we have delay available on every channel and every output, the pan control, and then the assign. So this is assigned by default to the left-right output, and that's your input. Also, if you'll notice above the fader, there's a little X right here. That tells you that the gate is engaged. Now, when you might want to use a gate, if you've got a kick drum mic, you don't want all that noise coming into the from the stage coming in, bleeding into that microphone. You might set a gate so that the mic only opens, or the channel only opens when the kick drum is struck. So that shows you that. There's also for each channel the gain reduction, a smaller version of the gain reduction meter, and input signal present and input meter on the channel. So you can do all of that with just by looking at the channel. If you need to get a little more control, you can go ahead and select the channel, and then you've got that up here. Another nice thing is these switches here can all be used as what they call interrogation switches. So for example, if I want to see what channels have phantom power engaged, I can just press and hold that, Now, right now I don't have any turned on, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on phantom power for this channel and turn on phantom power for this channel. And now when I press and hold this, it shows me that I have phantom power assigned to this channel. I can also use this to turn on phantom power. So if I know I have a bunch of condenser mics in a row, I can press and hold this and then just hit the select button for all the ones I want to turn 48 volts onto. And now when I interrogate, I see that I have 48 volts turned on. If I want to see what channels have the gate turned on, I can press and hold that, and right now it's only on channel 1, but if I know I want to turn the gates on my kicks, snare, and maybe I have some percussion mics over here, I want to do that, and turn that on, and now I have turned the gate on for those channels. Oops, sorry, that's 48 volt. Gate on for those channels. Over here we have our LCD display. You really don't need to get into the LCD display for mixing. There are a few things you might need to do over here, like the effects, but by and large this console is meant to be used live. It's all very tactile, very knobs and faders. So if you're moving from an analog console to a digital console, this will be very easy for you. You'll be up and mixing in no time. If I want to assign some of my channels, for example, to an aux mix, I've got control of my mix outputs right here. Aux 1, mix 1, bus 1, depending on how you like it. But so if I want to say mix 1 is my keyboard monitor, and he also sings, I can go to that, and I can put some of the vocal in there. I can put some keyboard, maybe some acoustic guitar, and now that's fully recallable. You notice that the faders moved right along with that. I can move to my next monitor and say I want to add some of this, some of that, some of that. I can do that. When I go back to mix 1, I'm right where I left off. When I go back to mix 2, and there you have it. And that's the same for the first 10. They are all pre-fader auxes or sends. The last 4 are post-fader. That's by default. You can change any of the behaviors of those, but by default, the first 10 are pre-fader, the second 4 or the last 4 are post-fader. Okay. Very similarly, now you'll notice that when I changed from my main input situation where none of the faders were lit up to the mix, they all glow yellow. That is Soundcraft's what they call fader glow, and that allows you to see at a glance what mode you're in. Over here we have the effects section. Next we'll take a look at. The expression comes with 4 built-in Lexicon effects engines, which you can access simply by turning on effects. Now this is one time we do go to the screen. So we have, you can use up to 4 different engines at 29 different effects each, one at a time of course. And you can adjust the parameters of each effect. So for example, by selecting the small hall here as my first one, you'll see that some parameters come up, and I have 4 more encoders here, which allows me to adjust the delay, the feedback level, and everything, depending on which effect you're in. If you happen to choose a delay, there are 4 tap switches here, which allow you to tap in the tempo of the effect that you want to create. So now I've got my effects set up. I'm using a small hall for my first reverb. So if I want to put some of my vocal mics into that, I simply hit effects 1, and now you'll notice the faders all turn blue. That lets me know that I am in the effects mode, and I can bring in my some microphones into that for effects 1. Say my effects 2 is a different delay, and I want to bring some channels into that. I can do that, and now when I go back to effects, I've got my vocal reverb, and I've got my delay over here. Okay, pretty simple. Let's see what else we have. So there are 4 layers to this console. So fader layer A And anytime I want to get out of the mode, I just hit that again. So I'm back to my aux mix, I'm back to my aux2 mix, I want to see what my effects are doing. All very quick, very well lit, so you can see what you're doing, you know what mode you're in. Fader level A is going to be all your live channels, up to 30. Fader layer B would be 31 through 54. If you were to use the expansion stage box, you could mix up to 54 analog channels. Now you'll notice here I have 2 purple faders. These are my stereo returns, which are accessible along the back of the console, and also my effects masters. So now if I want to bring in that effect for the vocal reverb, this is where my master would be for that. On layer C, I have all of my 1 through 14 mix outputs. These are my mix output masters, and you'll see that the first 10 are yellow for pre-fader, the second 4 are green for post-fader. Then on layer D, I've got my 4 matrix outputs. Now any of these, any of your faders can be assigned to any layer on the console. So for example, if I wanted to always have my grab my vocal reverb, I could assign that to this layer so that it was always available to me. So for example, if they're using the microphone to sing and also make announcements, when I don't want the reverb on, I can just grab that and I have that at my fingertips. So any of these faders can be assigned to any of the layers depending on the way you like to work. 15 and 16, I said there are 16 outputs. Now we have mix 1 through 14 here. 15 and 16 are by default your left and right outputs. So this is your left and right output fader. It's got the same access to the same on-off switch. You can kill the mains, bring the mains in. By selecting, I have access to my assignable channel strip. And the other nice thing, so now this is selected on, I can go to my EQ. There is a 28-band 3rd octave graphic EQ available on every output. So all of your auxes, all your mix outputs, you have access to an EQ, and they divide that up into a graphic EQ. They divide that up into 2 sections. So you have a low, and there's silkscreen, I don't know if you can see it, along here that allows you to make adjustments to the frequencies and shows you what frequencies they are. So I can make some changes here. If I want to see the high side, I can go there, make some changes there. And graphic EQ on every channel. These are BSS graphics, by the way. Okay. And then when I'm going to get out of there, I just turn that back off, and I'm back to mixing my inputs. So you can see by switching back and forth, the instant that I move to another mode or layer, it gives me a visual presentation of exactly where I am on the console. Oh, one other thing I wanted to point out. The encoders here, you'll notice they have nice ring LEDs around them so you can see the changes you're making. But also, if you need to be more specific and you want to get a numeric value for the changes you're making, it shows right up here on the console or on the LCD screen, and as soon as you release that, it goes away. So I can see I've got gates on here. So let's take a look at the back of the console. So here we are at the back of the console. As you can see, it looks very much like your analog console that you might be using now. Your 32 mic pre's are right here along the top. You'll also notice some red LEDs. That lets us know that phantom power is in use on there. And here are your 16 analog outputs, 1 through 16, and you might notice that on 15 and 16, as I said before, they are labeled mix left and mix right, so that would be your left-right outputs or your mains outputs. Over here there is an available card slot which allows you to put in one of several option cards that's available from Soundcraft. There is an Aviom card you can use with your personal mixers, the BSS SoundWeb card, which will work with the new DBX personal monitors. Also an Ethernet MADI and a fiber MADI, which would allow you to connect to a remote stage box. And over here we've got an Ethernet port. That's our HiQ net. That's where we'd plug in a wireless router to use with our iPad app. There is AES digital audio in and through. Here are our four stereo inputs that we talked about, left and right. And then a word clock, a MIDI in and through, or in and out, and of course your power switch and IEC cable. It does have an internal power supply. And then also here we have two B and C jacks for little lights, or the ones that come from Soundcraft, so you can illuminate the console. And that's about it for the back panel. So one more thing before we wrap up, I just wanted to talk briefly about the iPad app that's available for this. All you need is a wireless router. It plugs into that Ethernet cable in the back, or jack in the back that I showed you in the rear view. And this allows you to remotely control anything that you can control on the console by faders. So all your inputs, your sends to fader, your EQs, you can all do from the iPad app. And we'll get in, it's really easy to set up. We'll get into that in another video. But so that's the SI Expression 3 32-channel mixer, a great mixer at a great price. If you have any questions, check us out at northernsound.net or give one of our sales associates a call. Thanks for watching.